Alright everyone, it's time to say my thoughts about EVerify. Now before you press the dislike button and say, well, Styx has flown the coop, he's pro-illegal immigration, can I please explain why EVerify would do goddamn nothing with regards to illegal immigration and that there are other things we should be doing? We should build an actual cohesive border defense system, aka the wall. You could amp it up beyond that, make it a little bit taller, a little bit thicker, and double layer. Okay, well, it's much more of an impediment now, isn't it? You could speed up the process of legal immigration. You could streamline that. It used to be more simple back before roughly the 2000s. Well, if people are capable of legally immigrating, anyone with any means is not going to do so illegally. At least they're in the system. They're going to pay taxes. They're going to be documented. Hopefully they're positive members of society. Take pressure off the system. Number 3, you could have more border agents or let the states actually do what the federal government is apparently incapable of doing, which is guard the border. Texas and Arizona have certainly risen to that challenge, but they're not legally allowed to do anything. That's half of the southern border, by the way, between those two states. You could have shoot-to-kill orders on the southern border. You could say, look, if you try to come across and we catch you, we're going to gun you down in the desert, so don't come. There are other countries with the basic same premise. If you're an asylum seeker, you go to one of the processing centers, you give us your reason you're seeking asylum, you show us some sort of proof that you're from a country eligible to grant asylum. By the way, that should probably include those thousands of Dutch farmers now that are going to be screwed in the ass and lose their land and not be allowed to farm in the EU. The US should allow them to move to Pennsylvania or something. Go and dwell with the Amish. The soil's good there. You can grow your crops. You can grow your wortels and so forth. Your Bloomcool. Anyway, getting back on the subject, EVerify is the weakest of the solutions to illegal immigration. EVerify is the concept that there will be a universal digitized standard with regards to employment to make sure that everyone that is employed is a legal immigrant. Let me explain several problems with this. Under-the-table work, sweatshop labor that's additionally undocumented in nature, it takes place in a basement of a factory somewhere, are not going to be subject to the EVerify process. You will be subject to the EVerify process. Pablo, because he's illegal, knows that he can't get a job in the normal sense through EVerify. That doesn't matter to Pablo. Pablo's idea of a job is freelancing it, sitting out in front of Home Depot, and then doing yard work for somebody. His idea of a job is, hey, I know I'm going to be exploited by this corporation paying me half of minimum wage, 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, and I'm living in a basement with 12 other dudes. This already happens. They do not care. Compared to their living standards in their home countries, many times it is still more wealth than they could accumulate back home. If they could get a job at all, they'd make half as much in Guatemala. Even if they're making a sub-minimum wage, they're not paying rent. Yeah, you have to live with 12 other dudes in the shit shack, but hey, you've got a roof over your head, you've got food in your belly, and no questions asked. You got extra, you're not paying taxes, you got extra money at the end of the month to send back home to your family. EVerify can fuck itself, says Pablo. I don't care. I'll do this for a couple of years, I'll save up some basic cash, I can go back home to Honduras and I'll have 10 years income saved up. That'll be helpful. Maybe I'll found a school or buy a business. Maybe I'll buy a food stand or something. Well, then at the very least, I have a living because there's no living offered to me now. That's the mentality of a lot of these people. What about people coming illegally and they're unaccompanied minors or they're little kids that are brought to the United States? Well, EVerify, again, can fuck itself. They're too young to have a job, unless they're in, I guess, North Dakota or something. They can't have a job anyway. It makes no sense. By the way, under our current immigration law scheme, under Bidenism, they're not deporting anyone that comes with a kid anyway. If grandma comes with 3 grandkids across the Rio Grande, she's not deported. They're accompanied minors, by the way. So you're saying that grandma can't work, but so who's going to take care of the kids? Well, clearly the American taxpayers will have to take care of them. They'll get all sorts of goodies that American kids don't get, by the way, simply because they're illegal. They're treated as first-class citizens, and native citizens are treated as second-class at this point, which is another problem. That's the other thing. Disincentivize crossing. Scrap the goddamn DREAM Act. Make it clear, the people that are here, that are covered under it, we're looking into them. Nobody else will ever qualify again. We're never reinstituting that for any further comers. Don't bother coming. We're not going to pay for your education. If you want to join the military, maybe we make an exception because our own population's not dumb enough to join the military at this point because, look at who the commander-in-chief is. Okay, we'll make an exception for that. The rest of you stay the fuck out. Immigrate legally. Bring something to the table. Okay, you're a professor in your country. You're an emeritus of some sort. You understand nuclear physics. Okay, well, we'll consider getting you a job here if there's one available. Yeah, you're a nuclear physicist. Hey, you're famous. You're rich. You're willing to buy your way in. Okay, you've got $1 billion in your home country. It's worth about 100 million in our currency, but you're still rich. You want to invest? Okay, we'll give you conditional residency, and if you're continuing to invest and so forth, and you learn basic English and haven't broken the law, hint, hint, all the rich people do break the law, but we'll overlook the white-collar crimes, then maybe we can get you permanent residency, you can get a green card and shit. That's the way to do it. EVerify is not going to impact anything. It will marginally inconvenience a minority of the people that are coming to the United States illegally. You know what EVerify really is? It's a breach of the Fourth Amendment to try to tie as much of your personal data as possible to your ability to have a living. It will impact you. It will not impact an illegal immigrant. They're already working illegally. The concept that businesses don't already fall into one of two categories already is bullshit. They're either in the category where they wouldn't hire someone who couldn't document that they were a citizen or lawful resident, in which case that's not impacted. You're just fucking with those businesses, making them institute a further litmus test. Or they're corrupt, they're sleazebag businesses that are already paying these people under the table. There's no verification system involved. They don't care if they're illegal. If you tell a business, you tell sleazebag.com or Sleazebag Incorporated, the filth business, clearly it's invested in by George Soros. Well, you can't hire illegals anymore because of EVerify. Oh, okay. Well, you pay them in cash anyway. They're not in the system anyway. So what does it affect? It doesn't affect anything. Oh, it's illegal for us to hire them. Well, it already is. So who cares? They're already breaking the law. That's where Pablo is already probably working. So it's not going to do anything other than inconvenience American citizens and law-abiding businesses, sort of like gun control. The criminals don't really care about it. It's law-abiding gun owners that are constantly fucking abused by that system too. It's a snake in the grass. It's a pig in a poke. There are better ways to take care of the U.S. border crisis, starting with unelecting Joe Biden. That's point number one. Get Trump back in there and things will at least somewhat improve. You notice deportations were a lot lower under Trump. It's because fewer people were coming, because they knew something would actually be attempted to be done if they came illegally. That's about all. Peace out.